When I was a teacher, I watched my students closely. I taught children who came from different backgrounds, who had different IQ scores, who were born into different levels of opportunity, and yet, over time, I saw a pattern. It wasn't always the smartest kids who got the best grades. It wasn't always the most talented who kept going when things got hard. Again and again, I saw something else making the difference. It was grit. It was passion and perseverance over the long term. First, passion isn't just about enthusiasm. It's about direction. It's waking up day after day, driven by a deeper sense of purpose. Passion doesn't mean every moment is exciting or easy. It means you care so deeply about something that you're willing to endure the boring parts, the frustrating parts, and the uncertain parts, just to keep going. People often confuse passion with intensity, but real passion is consistency. Second, perseverance is what happens after motivation fades. It's what keeps us moving forward when we've failed, when we're tired, or when no one else is watching. We like to celebrate talent, we like to praise natural ability. But in almost every field, whether it's art, science, business, or sports, the people at the top are not always the most gifted. They are the ones who didn't quit. Third, effort counts twice. Talent matters. But talent without effort is potential. Talent plus effort is skill, and skill plus effort, that's achievement. Effort is what transforms what we're capable of into what we actually do. It is the bridge between where we are and where we want to be. Fourth, failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of it. The road to any meaningful goal is filled with setbacks. What separates people who ultimately succeed is not how rarely they fall, but how often they get back up. They treat failure not as a verdict, but as feedback. Fifth, passion and perseverance are built, not born. No one is born gritty. Just like muscles, character grows when we challenge it. It grows when we choose to keep going, when we take responsibility for our goals, and when we stay committed even when progress is slow. Sixth, long-term goals give our daily work meaning. When we connect the effort we make today to a bigger vision for the future, we become more resilient. Whether you want to be a great teacher, a surgeon, an athlete, or a leader, knowing why you're doing it helps you keep doing it. Finally, culture matters. When we surround ourselves with people who value persistence, who encourage resilience, and who model long-term commitment, we are more likely to develop those qualities ourselves. Passion and perseverance are contagious. In the end, success doesn't come from being the smartest person in the room. It comes from being the person who stays in the room the longest, working, learning, trying again and again and again. When people hear the word passion, they often think of fiery emotion, intensity, and enthusiasm that bursts forth in moments of inspiration. But real passion, the kind that leads to excellence and long-term success, is not a fleeting feeling. It's not just about being excited or energized at the beginning of a journey. True passion is consistency over time. It's a quiet, steady commitment to something that matters deeply to you, even when excitement fades. In our culture, passion is often portrayed as spontaneous and dramatic, artists painting all night, entrepreneurs launching brilliant ideas in a flash of inspiration. But that version of passion leaves out the hard parts, the tedious repetition, the setbacks, the plateaus, the moments of doubt. The truth is, passion that lasts is less about inspiration and more about endurance. It shows up not just in bursts, but in habits, in routines, in perseverance. Consistency is what transforms passion from a spark into a flame. Anyone can feel motivated for a week or two, maybe even a few months, but the people who achieve remarkable things are often the ones who keep going for years. They return to their work day after day, not because it's always thrilling, but because they care. Their passion is deeper than mood. It's rooted in purpose. This kind of passion doesn't mean doing the same thing without change. It means returning to the same core mission, even as the approach evolves. A passionate teacher keeps showing up for students even as education shifts. A passionate scientist keeps asking questions, running experiments, and revising theories. Passion is not about never getting tired. It's about staying committed through the fatigue. In fact, real passion often looks a lot like patience. It doesn't demand immediate results. It's about playing the long game, putting in the hours, refining your craft, learning from mistakes, and building something slowly. Passion with consistency recognizes that growth takes time, and mastery is measured not in days, but in years. One reason this kind of passion is so powerful is that it builds momentum. Small, repeated actions add up. Tiny improvements compound. Over time, the person who keeps showing up gains a depth of skill, resilience, and insight that no weekend burst of energy could ever match. They become the person who not only started with passion, but stayed with it. So if you're chasing something meaningful, whether it's writing a book, learning a skill, starting a business, or making a difference, don't worry if the excitement fades. Passion isn't just how you begin, it's how you continue. It's in the days you don't feel like it, but do it anyway. It's in showing up for your goals long after the novelty is gone. Because the truest form of passion doesn't just burn brightly, it burns steadily. And that steady burn is what creates extraordinary results over time. Failure is not the opposite of success, it is a necessary part of it. Though we often treat failure as something shameful or final, the truth is that every meaningful journey is paved with setbacks, mistakes, and disappointments. Failure is not a dead end, it's a stepping stone. It teaches us what talent alone cannot. It reveals our resilience, sharpens our focus, and forces us to grow in ways that easy success never could. In school, in work, and even in life, we are often taught to avoid failure at all costs. We're rewarded for getting things right, for staying within the lines, and for achieving outcomes the first time around. But if we only pursue goals we can easily reach, we limit ourselves. Growth happens at the edge of our abilities, where failure is not just possible, but likely. Ask anyone who has achieved something truly worthwhile, and they will tell you about the failures that shaped them. Athletes lose games before they win championships. Writers receive rejections before they publish bestsellers. Inventors build dozens of broken prototypes before landing on the design that works. Failure is not a detour, it's part of the path. What makes the difference is how we respond to it. People who are afraid of failing often stop trying. They shrink their goals to avoid risk. But people with grit, those with passion and perseverance, treat failure differently. They don't take it as a verdict on their abilities. They see it as feedback. A missed shot tells you how to adjust your aim. A rejected idea tells you what needs improvement. Each failure carries a lesson. If you're willing to learn from it, it's important to understand that failure can hurt. It can shake your confidence and leave you discouraged. That's natural, but bouncing back is a skill. Resilience is built each time we choose to stand up after falling. Over time, this response becomes a habit. We begin to expect setbacks and prepare for them, not with fear, but with determination. Failure also builds humility. It reminds us that we don't know everything and that we can't control every outcome. That humility opens the door to learning. It invites us to ask for help, to collaborate, and to try new approaches. In this way, failure not only improves our work, it strengthens our character. Ultimately, the road to success is rarely smooth. It winds through wrong turns, detours, and breakdowns, but each of those moments can bring us closer to our goal if we don't give up. In fact, some of the greatest achievements in history came from people who refused to let failure define them. They saw it as information, not identity, so the next time you fail, pause and reflect. But don't stop. Remind yourself that failure is not a sign you're doing it wrong. It's a sign that you're trying something hard. And that's exactly where growth begins.